I'm here today with Bob Altenkirch, who is president of the New Jersey Institute of Technology and became the 7th president back in July of 2002. Dr. Altenkirch, you hold a PhD from Purdue University, a Master of Science from University of California, Berkeley, and your Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from Purdue as well. Can you describe your career path from graduation until your current position here at NJIT?
Sure. When I left Purdue with a PhD in mechanical engineering, I went to the University of Kentucky for 13 years as a faculty member. Then I went to Mississippi State as Dean of Engineering. Then I went to Washington State as Dean of Engineering and Architecture. Then back to Mississippi State as Vice President for Research. And in 2002, I came to NJIT as president.
How did you get to Purdue? What made you choose that for your undergraduate and come back for your PhD?
Well, I went to high school in St. Louis and wanted to go to the University of Missouri at Columbia, study physical education, and my father said, no, you're not going to do that. My mother worked for a manufacturing company in St. Louis. The owner of the company had two daughters that attended Purdue, and they liked it. And so I went and visited, and I told my father I'd go here, and he said I'll pay for it, so I wound up at Purdue.
Did you always have an interest in mechanical engineering at that age, or was there?
No, not particularly. Just, you know, I figured if you're at Purdue, you generally study engineering or agriculture, and I picked engineering. Mechanical seemed to be the sort of most general, so I chose that, and it was fine.
What was your fondest memory during your time there at Purdue or afterwards? You said you mentioned your wife, meeting her.
Well, I'd say early on, at that time in athletics at Purdue and in the NCAA, freshmen did not play on varsity teams, so there was always a freshman team of everything. So I went out for the freshman baseball team, never having played high school baseball. I did play baseball in the summertime, but I ran track in high school, and that conflicted with baseball. So I went out for the baseball team, and I made the team. And the first game was a doubleheader at Illinois, and I played right field, and I was batting last after the pitcher, which is not a good sign. And in that game, those two games, if I recall correctly, I got 2 doubles and 5 walks. The next game was a home game, and I was the leadoff hitter. And I did that for the rest of the year. And so that's something I always remember being in a fraternity. And then, of course, as you mentioned, I met my wife there, and we actually got married on June the 6th, 1970. And then I went to the graduation ceremony on June the 7th, the next day. And then the following day, we drove to California for graduate school.
Wow. So you had already been accepted?
Yeah.
Beforehand. All right. And what type of research did you do while you were at UC Berkeley?
At Berkeley, I did research on the combustion of oil droplets at high pressure, which is an application to diesel engines. So I was looking at how nitric oxide, which is an air pollutant, how nitric oxide formed around droplets burning at high pressure, which would then translate into what the pollution characteristics of a diesel engine were. And when I went back to Purdue, I did work on gas turbine combustion, looking at the application of gas turbines to automobiles and the pollution characteristics of gas turbines in automobiles.
What college or career advice would you have for Purdue students currently attending or recently graduated? Was there some thought process that helped you succeed in your career?
Well, I think there's no substitution for hard work. You can't slack off. And there's a lot of, what I realized quickly at Purdue is there was a lot of smart people around me. and the only way I could make a difference is to work harder than they did. And I think that's true throughout your career as well.